Dead Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. So call Two Eagles Auto Body and ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. The Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. So call Two Eagles Auto Body and ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. The Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body.
Hey there, people. It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Voice, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony and Sally on the Knock 'em Dead radio show. They're going to keep knocking 'em dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there.
Hey, Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot, and you're no fun to be with, and you don't make that much money, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus, and hey, Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot.
3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Hello, Tony. Mookie Wilson here, 1986 Mets. How you doing? Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, that Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio, man. I miss you. I wish I was still up there, man. But I'll wait till it warms up a little bit, and hopefully this year things will be a little bit better, man. But when you're talking about comedy, hey, the early years of Mets was a lot to laugh about. You had to make a lot of comedy off those guys. Hey, hope to see you guys during the summer, and hopefully get back on the show, man, at some point in time during the course of the year, all right? All right? Yeah, fine. Contact me, man. All right, Tony. Talk to you later.
3-2 to Mookie Wilson.
Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday. Tuesday trivia coming at you in just a little while. Oh, I forgot to turn the lights on. I'm forgetting everything. Mike O'Sullivan is here, ladies and gentlemen. Mike O'Sullivan, thanks for coming in today, Mike. Mike is our new Tuesday guy for a while until he goes back in September to do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Jeff Bosey. Thanks for watching. Andy Plajanos. Well, now Mookie means what he says in the vid. That's true. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I'm Mike. I think I'm having a stroke.
What happened?
I forgot to turn the lights on, and now yesterday I screwed up so bad. Yesterday, let me ask you. In fact, we were just talking about him before we went on the air. You know the name Rob Bartlett?
Yes.
You know the name Mark Riccadonna?
Yes.
Do you know the name Richie Byrne?
Yes.
Mark Riccadonna, Richie Byrne, they do a show in here called Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. A new episode just premiered yesterday. They record the show mostly on Mondays. So Monday afternoon, yesterday, I'm here. Richie Byrne is sitting right in that chair. Riccadonna and their guest, Rob Bartlett, are on Zoom. We record the episode. One of their best episodes. Rob Bartlett, I mean, he goes back, 40-plus years in Long Island comedy. He started, with Governors here. He was on Imus for years. He's done Broadway shows. He's written Broadway shows. The guy's been all over the place. They had such a great interview. I go to watch it after, and I have no audio. And I don't know, what I did. And I Don Sill, you met that night. You came in here with Orlando Jones. He's a professional editor. That's what he does for a living. Okay. So I send the file over to him. I was like, Don, can you help me out? Can you make a miracle happen here? Like I don't know what I would have done. I would have probably given him one of my children or something. Like if he was able to make that miracle happen.
That's a fair trade.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean it's only children. But yeah, he couldn't get it to work. I was like, son of a bitch. So I had to go back and tell these guys that was a great show, but we're not gonna be able to post it. So I screwed that up somehow. Now there's a guy Mike who built this studio, who maintains everything. I just push buttons. He's the guy that the brainchild behind this thing. He does a beer show in here. You guys know him. Mike O'Toole does the beer show called The Wort. He asked me for something because he was working on something. He needed something from me. I forgot to take care of that for him. And then on Sunday, are you a baseball guy?
Yeah.
This past Sunday, I interviewed Mookie Wilson.
The Mookie Wilson.
The Mookie Wilson.
Number one.
Number one, baby. Game 6. The Mookie Wilson. Sat with him. Yeah, I was like a kid at Christmas.
Was it in here?
It was not in here. He was somewhere in Bethpage, and I went to him in Bethpage, and we recorded. We did 20 minutes, and Don Sill also did a section with him for his show, and so I'm all excited. I played it here on the show yesterday, but I also wanted to post it as a separate, its own separate video. So, and I tell everybody on the show yesterday. So this show ends in between 12:30 and 1 every day. So I said, all right, well, hang tight because at 2 o'clock you can go on YouTube and see the video. Well, I scheduled it for 2 o'clock today, and I didn't even know it. So I don't know. And now today we start the show. I forget to turn the lights on. It's happening. It's the beginning of like a downhill spiral and then to death. Yeah.
Yeah, this is called getting old.
Yeah.
This is it.
Can I ask how old are you? Is that all right?
51.
50. Oh,
years young.
Nice. Yeah. Good answer.
No, it's no. I'm into that point of I've gone into the rooms a couple of times where why did I come in here? I've had that a few times.
Yep.
That I hate when that happens. Or I've actually been in the car driving, going, where am I going again?
Really?
I've had a couple of those.
Oh wow.
Just the brain fog at
Yeah.
But I get it mostly in the morning. But I have done the room thing. Is now it's just I've accepted it. There are certain things you have to accept.
Yes.
And I'm starting to accept the room.
I've accepted that I will lose and drop everything. I am the biggest freaking klutz. I mean, my phone is all it's all smashed up. See what I did? See, look, it's all smashed up. I'm constantly dropping this thing.
I will say, in all the years I've owned, though, we've all had cell phones now, roughly about 20 years, at least. Mm-hmm. Knock on wood, I have never cracked a screen. Never.
How did you do that?
Phones. I always put it in a case. Number one.
Hey, look at this kid.
But
Look
I've
at the
had
size
it,
of this
like-
thing.
Yeah, but the screen's not cracked on it yet, right?
It is. It's all
Is it?
cracked up. See?
I never get
I
it.
just showed you this. See? There you go. Signs of aging. 2 seconds ago, I said, look,
Why
it's
am
all
I
cracked
here?
up.
What is this again? No.
Who are you?
But I've never like cracked. I don't know why. I never cracked the screen on my phone.
Very nice.
I've been lucky.
You followed Nancy Reagan's advice.
Yeah.
Just say no to crack.
Just say
sorry.
no to crack,
Yeah,
yes.
Sorry, that was bad. And then also one of the guys. So it was 2 guys that hooked me up with meeting Mookie. Mookie's my all-time favorite Met. This was a big deal for me to meet him. And 2 guys hooked me up. And then in the video at the end, I kept repeating myself. All right, I got to thank these guys. I can't forget to thank these guys. Tom Falcone. See, I did it just now. His name is Steve Costello. For some reason, I keep calling him Rich. In the video with Mookie, I said, thanks to Tom and thanks to Rich. I'm like, I watched the video back. I'm like, son of a bitch. This guy hooks me up, and that's how I thank him. I get his name wrong. Steve Costello, Tom Falcone.
Steve, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, so it's the worst part about aging. Have you experienced this? Where like when we were young, you used to pee, and you used to be able to feel when the pee was about to be done. I don't feel it. It just keeps going, and then eventually just stops. Like I don't feel it anymore.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. when you're just like, oh, am I done?
Yeah,
I either like just start running things through my head because I know it's going to be an extra. I give myself an extra 30 seconds now. A lot of times I'll just sing the Jeopardy theme in my head because I know that's 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'll just do that.
I always think
And
of
it usually works.
Yeah.
It usually works.
I usually think of Leslie Nielsen in The Naked Gun. You remember it? Where he's got the microphone from the press conference, and then he goes in and starts, and it's just going and going. You see him; he's got his hand against the wall. The rest, it's just nonstop. Let's see. Good morning, Jeff Bosey. Bosey says it's okay, Andy. I know we didn't want to do this, but we're going to have to take Tony out back and put him down. Yeah, it might be coming to that, Jeff. It just might be coming to that. So yeah. So Andy says now Mookie means what he says in the video. Yeah. So I was running videos before the show started, and I don't know, a couple of years ago, I went on Cameo, and you can get a message from Mookie Wilson for $100. So I actually paid it, and they have the little thing that says, please put in the description what you'd like Mookie to say, whether it's happy birthday, whatever. So I just wrote, please have Mookie, just say something like, hi, you're watching the Knock 'em Dead comedy show. He sends back this video. Oh, and that's something else I forgot. So he goes. He sends back this video. Hey, Tony and everybody, good to see you again. I miss you guys. I'd love to come back on your show. We had such a great time, right? And he starts going on about the Mets and how bad the Mets were in the bulk of the '80s, and then he says it again at the end. Love to, you guys got to hit me up. I would love to come back and do your show again. So I played it every day as part of my intro. At the time, he had never been here, never been on the show, never. The only time I ever talked to him previously was getting his autograph, one day. So we were all like, what the hell is he talking about? But I play it anyway. But then I forgot. I wanted to show him when I met him the other day. I wanted to show him, Mookie, why did you? But, of course, I forgot. So that's what Andy's talking about. Now Mookie means what he says in the video. Right. Now it makes sense. So maybe Mookie knew the future.
I actually got Cameo as a birthday gift. One of the greatest gifts I ever got.
Really?
One of my favorite gifts, I should say. My 2 brothers.
Yeah.
I get a text. It's like, go click on Cameo, and I get a happy birthday from Norm Macdonald.
Wow.
It was maybe a year before he passed away, year and a half before he passed away.
Oh, wow.
And it's great. You get like the 1 minute.
Right.
And he just goes into the whole thing. It was great. I still have it on my phone somewhere.
That's fantastic.
And then so we repaid one of my brothers, we did it for his birthday. We got Norm again.
Oh, nice.
And this was like maybe 6 months.
Oh my goodness.
Or so before he passed away.
Well, he was like Pee-wee, right? He didn't tell anybody he was sick, right?
Yeah, Pee-wee, what the?
I didn't know Pee-wee Herman was 70 years old.
Yeah.
That blew me away. Again, another sign that we're getting old.
Yeah, 70.
70.
Wow.
Pee-wee Herman. Now, do you happen to know Mike Keegan?
I know the name. I know
okay.
I've seen his picture around here.
Right. He's here all the time. In fact, he's here this weekend. He he heard the news that Pee-wee died, and then he asked, "Did Pee-wee die of a stroke?"
I heard it was multiple strokes in the theater. But I mean, come on. We love Pee Wee Herman.
Absolutely.
We all grew up with Pee Wee Herman.
And, that was a bum rap. So what?
Yeah.
He was, I mean.
Like, if he did that now, he would have gained, 300,000 Instagram followers.
You're absolutely right.
He'd have his own reality show.
Right.
He would have had a massive... oh, my...
Yep. What do they think people were doing in there in the first place?
Yeah. You don't... No one's going there to review the movie. No one's going there for the popcorn and the nachos. We know what kind of theater it is.
Did you ever go to one of those back in the day?
I can neither confirm or deny.
Oh, I'll say I don't care. I was 19 or 20 and I did.
Yeah, I was probably about the same age.
But that's why I left.
No, did you go in Manhattan?
No, it was here on Long Island. It was
They had them on Long Island?
Yeah, and at Westbury, that way, Westbury. There was one called the Salisbury Theater. It was called. It's long gone. But yeah, and I walked in again. I was 19 or 20. I had no idea, and I was scared. So I walk into the back of the theater. I'm just standing there, and the movie's playing. But it was weird. I mean, at the time, well, I'm still an idiot, but back then I was even more of an idiot. I kept seeing these guys come walking in, and there was a door. They kept walking in the door, and I'm like, where are they going? Now I'm thinking, of course, there's probably prostitutes or something in there. Had no idea. But then I start to walk on. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go sit down. But then I see what the guys are doing. I'm like, oh. I split. I'm like,
yeah, that was, okay. I have a similar, now I went to, growing up in Queens.
Right.
There was actually one on Northern Boulevard.
Okay.
No, Astoria Boulevard. I'm sorry. Astoria Boulevard, about 10 minutes. I never went in that one. Oh, no, wait, I did once. All right. Anyway. But they had, growing up, this is the late 80s, Times Square.
Yeah,
Times Square wasn't, what it is today.
Right.
It was very seedy, and me and a buddy were driving around, and he's like, "Want to go? Well, let's go to one of those theaters. Let's go." So we go. This is how crazy it was. Like I parked, I think, right in front of the theater, legally. There was no your car's getting towed. You could just. I think I parked right in front. We both go in, and okay, so we're sitting down, and we're like, all right, I've kind of seen this, okay. And two guys are probably 5 rows in front of us.
Yeah.
And I'm not really paying attention. And then one guy's head just disappears.
Oh.
And me and my friend just look at wait, we're not, this isn't.
You didn't look at each other and go,
it's not.
All right.
This isn't the Ramrod Theater. This is, this is. And we're like, what? And I want to say we were in there for about 12 minutes. That happened, and it was like, okay, we can check this off the list now.
Right.
It's time to
go. Yep.
And we walked out, and I think that was the last.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't realize when you go in to the kids listening at home, if you're gonna go to a porno theater, there's a lot of other things going on in the porno theater.
Do they still exist?
I think Showworld was I think that was just the booths. Remember,
yes.
the peep show.
Yes.
I think that's done now. I don't know what's
I have no idea
left,
anymore.
and it's an experience, but you just read about it. I think that's about
Yeah, but even then, even if you read about it, you're like, no, I want to. Guys want to see it.
No.
So when you're 19, 20, go see it. It's really not worth the money, but you're gonna want to be able to, like you said, check it off the list.
Yeah, it's like it's watching how the steak is made. You don't want to. You wanted to see it, but then you saw it, and you're like, I shouldn't. I shouldn't have been here.
Right. Let's see. Pee-wee is now with Large Marge, says Vicky. Oh, yes, Mike Keegan's on my shirt. That's right. Thank you, Andy. Hershey and the Keeks tonight at 7 o'clock. That is not Kim Jong-un. That is Mike Keegan. It does look like Kim Jong-un, doesn't it?
Keeg Jong-un?
Exactly.
Maybe.
Let's see. R.I.P. We get it. Nice from that was good.
Ooh,
yep, that was good. Andy Plagenos at the open mic last night. I said in honor of Pee Wee, and I unbuckled my belt. Remember, two people that got shot in the back of the head in a theater. Abe Lincoln and the guy sitting in front of Pee Wee Herman. Yep.
Was it ever confirmed that he finished? It was never confirmed, I think.
I don't know. You think they waited for him to finish?
And here's okay.
And I'd be like the cop, like, no, I'm not cuffing him. You do it.
You're in it. What did you think he was going to do in that theater? Like,
right.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm curious why they went in there in the first place.
Yeah, I don't.
Did somebody say, "Hey, Paul Rubens is in
story.
there"?
Yeah,
right. And then didn't he get caught a second time?
I think so. Yeah, years.
Yeah, him and
maybe years later.
Yeah, it was years. Him and the I could have sworn they said the actor was with the redheaded guy, the principal from Ferris Bueller.
No, that guy's like a kid toucher, man. That guy's like legit.
Is that right?
Yeah, Rooney eats it, man.
Is that his name, Rooney?
No, what's his name? Jeffrey Jones is the actor.
Jeffrey Jones, you're right, yeah.
He was Rooney in Ferris.
Oh, that was his name?
Okay. He got caught, I think, with kiddie porn.
Oh,
yeah, he's a sicko.
Oh, that sucks.
I met him.
Oh, yeah?
I met him.
When you were 5?
12 and a half.
Oh.
But, no, he's a huge giant of a man.
Yeah.
And I didn't I was like, oh. And then I realized that as I walked away, I should have just said Bueller. And I didn't.
Because I'm sure he's never heard that before.
And this is before the whole touchy.
Well, I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't in a prison cell, I guess.
It didn't cause me to get therapy afterwards. So.
How did you meet him?
Okay, I was working. All right, this is back in 1994.
Wow.
The summer of 94. Okay. You know, we have the regular Olympics, summer and winter Olympics.
Right.
I don't know if they still do it. They had the Gay Olympics.
Oh.
I didn't know this either.
Yeah,
and it was in 1994. It was in New York City.
Really?
The closing ceremonies for the Gay Olympics were at Yankee Stadium. Yeah.
No shit.
This is before the Yankees were just starting to get good. You know, it was before 96.
Yep.
They did a lot of shit. You know, they stopped doing concerts once they started winning the way. They didn't want the field touched.
Right.
But 94 was the final, was the Gay Olympics. They had these closing ceremonies there. I'm a cop. I'm a rookie. It's my first summer on the job. And I'm there just standing on a corner and watching everyone go. They didn't sell out the stadium, but it was a decent amount of people. And I'm standing there, and he came walking by because the train is right there. If you know Yankee Stadium, 161st Street and River Avenue, and he asked whatever train it was. He was like, "Oh, if I take this, can I catch the whatever train back to Manhattan?" I said, and most of the time, cops don't know the answer to that, so they're just going to tell you yes. So I think I just told him yes.
Good answer, sure.
Yeah, especially listen, if you're in Manhattan and the cop tells you like, "I don't work around here." Don't ask him for trains or anything like that. Just look at. I mean, you can look it up on your phone now. So
right.
Just
yes.
Do that. Because I used to just tell people all the time. Yeah, you could take that train. Oh yeah, that'll take you right uptown. Yeah, sure. Transfer at 125th Street. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
So you didn't say, "Hey, you're that guy." You didn't do anything.
I realized it as I walked. I was like, "That's the guy.
The guy.
That's Bueller. That's Mr. Rooney."
So he wasn't. Was he coming from the stadium?
Oh, he was at the
Really?
Was he? I would assume.
Oh wow.
Why would he be in the South Bronx for any other reason? And it was very. There was a lot of. I'd say maybe the stadium was like half full, so 20,000 maybe.
Wow. I didn't. Yeah, I had no idea. There you go. Wow. I got nothing.
I got nothing either.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Bye.
Bueller. Anybody?
Yeah, that was. I was shocked yesterday about Pee Wee. That was weird. So what you're saying is he's not going to be in Beetlejuice 2. Says no, I don't think so. Oh, Vicky says she has a couple. Oh, a couple of show worlds by her. She lives up in Rochester. There's you have a couple, not just one. My goodness.
That's.
Got to move to Rochester.
That's a 5-hour drive from here. I mean,
yeah, but the fact that they have two of them, that says a lot about that area.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're perverted, apparently.
Well, I mean, the Polaroid factory shut down. People need work. So, right. I mean, Kodak went out of business, right? I mean,
you would think
that was the whole town, I think.
But you think the porn business would have saved Polaroid? Because I know a lot of porn stars used to like take a Polaroid, autograph it, and that would be the only picture in existence. So, I heard that. I didn't. Never ordered one. Fremder, I heard about the gay Olympics, the 2 gay marathon runners that were both neck and neck until one of them got ahead. Andy Plajanos, the funniest part about Tony pretending he doesn't know about the gay Olympics. I don't. Andy was there, that's why he knows about it. But no, I have no recollection of this. Did this go on for a long time?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. It was
Andy would know. He's the expert on it.
Unless maybe it travels. I guess it travels the world.
Yeah, maybe.
The country. I don't know. But that was the closing ceremonies.
Wow.
Was at Yankee State? Yes, Yankees. The Yankees had the ceremony there.
It's fitting. Very nice.
Not the Mets. Not Mookie Wilson.
Not Mookie Wilson.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Who was I telling? Maybe I said it on the air yesterday. Like a kid meeting Santa Claus.
Yeah.
When I met back when I was 21. I met Spanky from the Little Rascals, and now this weekend hanging out with Mookie Wilson. Like those are my two like holy crap moments.
How old was Spanky?
It was actually a year before he died. He died. He was only in his 60s when he died.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was 21, so that would be 1991. So that's 30 years ago. Yeah, he was on the Little Rascals in the early 30s. So yeah, he was only in his 60s. Wow. I forget what he died from, but yeah, it was only a year before he died, and yeah, I don't get starstruck. I've met a lot of celebrities, and I don't get starstruck, but Spanky, I got online and to meet him at a book signing, and as he's signing the book, he shakes my hand, and I actually said out loud, I go, "Oh, it's Spanky!" like that. I was 21. I was an idiot, but him. When I met Brian May from Queen,
oh wow,
I couldn't. I just that's all I did. I just went, and then because I've met a lot of weird people. I've had the weird fortune of meeting a lot of celebrities, and so I try not to get like Mookie Wilson was a big one for me. So I tried to keep my cool and just
I think I'd lose it a little with Mookie.
Yeah, that was a real big deal for me.
He was. I think I definitely Chris Farley show. You remember when you hit the ball and Bill Buckner didn't get it, and then you ran, and then they won, and then in Game 7 you guys won, and that was great.
You have a ring. Yeah.
Jesse Orozco threw his mitt in the air. Everybody was happy. That was the last time I was happy. Almost 40 years ago.
Yeah, right. It's all been downhill since.
I was like a timid little girl when I met Jack Nicholson.
Oh wow!
And I was shaking.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that would. I could see that.
I was like, "That's Jack Nick," and shook his hand and got his autograph, and I was like, "Hey, thank you." I know I got thank you out.
Okay,
and that was good. It. And then he talked, and I was just He's Jack talking to me. And, okay, and then he walked away. And my friend was just like, he goes, "You look like a 9-year-old girl who just met the Backstreet Boys." He goes, "It was pathetic. I can't believe you're a man with a family and that's how you acted. What does this guy do? He plays pretend for a living and you just melted in front of him."
Yeah, I try to tell myself that. Like, they're just people. It doesn't matter. But yeah, sometimes... Like I said, Brian May and Spanky. That's a pairing right there. Brian May and Spanky. But yeah, I couldn't do it. And I held it together for Mookie. Again, Mookie was my favorite baseball. I'm a baseball nut. Yeah. And Mookie, I just loved his professionalism. I loved the way he always hustled. I loved his attitude. He's a man of faith, and I liked his attitude. Like, that helped his attitude with baseball. I just liked everything he...
You're a big Met fan, correct?
I'm a huge Met fan, yeah.
All right. Did you read the book The Bad Guys Won?
I've never read the whole thing. I've only read bits and pieces.
Well, who is it? Him and Gary Carter.
Yep. I talked about this with Mookie.
About they didn't drink.
Yep. They were both men of faith.
And if you read the whole book,
they hated Carter.
Yes. Gary Carter was not. I mean, hey man, Gary Carter, I love Gary Carter. He's a great baseball player.
Yep.
But yeah, the whole team wasn't a fan of his.
Yep.
But they were like, Mookie's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I read in the beginning of the book. I think Mookie, when the strike was going on, he was working in Queens on like Roosevelt Avenue loading trucks.
He was a truck driver in the off season. Yeah, and he said it wasn't really that bad because he would drive to other parts of the country, outside of New York in that area. They really, so he said nobody really knew. He said, but when he came back east, somebody's calling me. No, I'm not taking it. I don't know who it is, but when he would come back this way, then people were like. But yeah, that's what he had to. Sorry. So yeah, that's so. Yeah, he was. Yeah, but I asked him about that. I said, "You and Carter are a man of faith." I said, "Why do they hate Carter, not you?" He said, "Because Carter." He said, first of all, he goes, I had the tenure. I was on the team already. Yeah. He's on the Mets since 1980. Yeah. But he said Carter, they hated him already because he was the enemy and he was such a great player. But two things. He said like the Gary Carter we saw on TV, like always Mr. Smile, Mr. Clean, Mr. Friendly. It would come across a little fake. He said, but that was him all the time. He goes, so a lot of guys just didn't accept it. But also with the faith part, he said he would go to guys and try to and Mookie didn't do that.
Yeah, they said in the book, I don't know if you got up to this part in the book, like after they sat up front, him and Carter sat up front, and they would just like read the Bible or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And like they didn't want anything to do.
Mm-hmm. And when they trashed that airplane, and they wanted the players to pay, that Mookie stood up and said, "I'm not paying a dime. I had nothing to do with that." But then the players years later would say, "No, Gary was actually right. We were the lunatics. We were idiots, and they wish they listened more to him."
But Davey Johnson was the best.
Oh, absolutely.
When they got the bill,
right?
He just ripped. He's like, "Fuck them. We're going to the World Series."
That's right.
He can pay for it.
But he ended up paying. Davey Johnson, he paid the whole bill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he paid the whole bill himself. But you're right, he did rip it up at first, but he ended up paying. But still, the players didn't have to pay.
It's a cool gesture. Well, Gary Carter's nickname was the Face in the book. They said it's always because they said he was also the first one like off a bus to do the interview.
Oh yeah,
and that's what they said. A lot of guys that like didn't. I mean, that book. Go find a copy of this book and read it. The Mets were nuts in '86, and it's so true that the story between Darryl Strawberry and Kevin Mitchell. I don't know if you read that in the book. That was wild. They're playing pickup basketball in spring training.
Okay.
Now, Kevin Mitchell's about, I think, 5'10".
Right.
Darryl Strawberry's what, 6'6"?
Yeah.
Strawberry is constantly dunking on him during the game. It was like a 2-on-2 game. I forget. I think it was Doc Gooden. I forget who the fourth person was. He keeps dunking on Mitchell. All right. Darryl Strawberry grew up in a bad neighborhood.
Yep.
I'm sure he's a badass dude. Kevin Mitchell was actually, I think, in the Bloods. A gang member.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Mitchell had enough of the dunks. And they said he just grabbed Strawberry, knocked him in the face, got him on the ground, and then just started pummeling him.
Really?
They drag him off Strawberry, and they go, "Where are you going?" He goes, "I'm going to get a bat, and I'm going to finish this."
Holy
And they
crap.
looked at Strawberry like, "You better get the fuck out of here now."
Right.
Yeah, the book is, it gets into a lot of internal stuff.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see that in the book. Holy shit. Wow. Can you imagine? Imagine he was able to finish the job. Like one baseball player killed another with a baseball bat.
With a bat. Assault and battery.
Maybe he was just going to get a wiffle ball bat.
Could have been.
Yeah.
It could have been.
Yeah, that's all.
T-ball bat, maybe. I don't know.
Freaking aluminum bat would have dented on Strawberry's head. Holy crap. Yeah, I got to read that book again. That's wild stuff.
They wanted to do a movie.
Oh, yeah?
I don't think it ever came up. ESPN, I think. I think ESPN owns the rights to it, that they were going to do it.
Who would play Kevin Mitchell? Who would play Kevin Mitchell and Darryl Strawberry?
Darryl Strawberry's told. I don't. Kevin Mitchell, maybe. What's his face? Ice Cube's son. Was it O'Shea?
You got me.
Is O'Shea Jackson his real name? O'Shea Jackson Jr. O'Shea something.
Oh, okay.
Darryl Strawberry, I don't know, man. Tall. I'm trying to think of like a tall black actor that could play him well.
Who would you play?
Frank Cashin.
That is a great
deep
answer.
Inside baseball reference.
You've thought about this before. That you came out with that answer.
Come on. I just got rid of George Forster for Lee Mazzilli. Yeah, fuckers, come on, win me a pennant.
I brought in Bobby Ojeda.
I don't even. Did Frank Cashin even sound like that?
I have
Maybe
no
I'll be
idea.
Bob Murphy and just be loaded doing the game.
That's a great
on the
idea.
count.
That's a great idea.
Ralph Kiner, maybe a Ralph Kiner. Hey, when I played the game, okay.
Ralph Kiner, we used to crack up. My buddies and I used to go to. I mean, back in the '80s, we'd go to games all the time. And at Shea Stadium, they had the TV screens. You know, as you're walking through the corridors, and Kiner's Corner would come on after the game. But if you're watching at the stadium, it would keep the feed going. Like they wouldn't show the commercials. It would just stay on the feed. I can't tell you how many times we would sit there and watch this. It became a thing that we had to see this. During the commercial break, Ralph was, I mean, he's a mess. Yeah. He's probably drunk off his ass. But he would start, until they're waiting for the commercial break then, he would sit there picking his nose. My brother and the three of us, we would bring other guys with us, but it was always my brother and I and another guy, Rob. We like that was like our thing after the game. All right, the game's over, now we got to go see Ralph pick his nose. That became our thing.
I was so lucky in the like. Number one, I lived. It was like a 30-minute train ride from Astoria to. It was like 2 trains to get there. But my aunt at the time was working on like Wall Street. She was a secretary, administrative assistant. We used to get Met tickets like crazy. I had tickets 5 rows back from the Met dugout.
Really?
And I would get the tickets. The tickets I'd usually get were in the beginning of the season because no one cared, really. Right. It was early in the season.
Yeah.
And then the end of the season.
Yeah, because they're out of it by then.
Like I was 86. I think I was at the last home game. I wasn't at the game when they clinched, when everyone destroyed the field.
Right.
I was at a game where I literally was 5 feet away from missing Bob Ojeda throwing his glove into the stands. Davey Johnson took him out.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
And he just threw the glove. And we're sitting there because you couldn't see him going into the dugout, and then you just see this big brown thing doing and it literally landed in a kid's lap.
Oh wow!
And it was like, oh shit! Like he just threw his glove.
Right.
And 20 minutes later, these security guys come over, and it was like, he wound up getting an autograph. I'm sure he got an autograph ball or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. we were there in '89 when Tim Tuffle had that big brawl with Rob Dibble.
Oh yeah.
and we had snuck down. We were right behind the Reds dugout, and this is when all the stuff with Pete Rose was just starting to come out, all the betting, and the place starts chanting, "Rose must go," and we're just a few rows behind the Reds dugout, and we were. I mean, I'll never forget. He's walking off the field after the fight, seeing him. I mean, because again, we're so close. Seeing his face as we're all chanting that it was insane, man. Let's see, Andy Pagano. So funny. Oh, I read that already. From there were so many people at the Gay Olympics. I guess you could say it was pretty packed. Why am I laughing?
They squeezed him in.
Pagano, stop being so coy, Tony. You are still. You are the all-time gold medal winner. That's what happens when I read this a half hour later. I don't know what that's referring to.
The Olympics?
The Gay Olympics, maybe? Yeah.
Michael Phelps. You're the Michael Phelps.
That's me.
The all-time.
I mean, I imagine what the contests were.
I have no idea.
There's a lot of off-color jokes we can make.
It's just... Yeah. I think we should cancel this show right now and then tell each other the jokes, and then we'll come back.
We'll just shut the mics off. That was a good one.
It's insane.
Unbelievable. We're going to get to some Tuesday trivia in just a little while. We're hanging out. Michael O'Sullivan is here. We're going to be hanging out on Tuesdays with Michael for a few weeks, which is going to be great. Who's your favorite comedian?
Colin Quinn.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. I always gravitate to him. I don't know.
Okay.
I like him.
There's a comedian. I don't know if you know him or not. Tim Gage. Do you know?
Yeah, his cousin.
Yeah. Tim is one of the nicest guys in the world. Another guy that was, to this day, still very supportive of the studio. Comes in a lot. So we were back here doing something one night, and Colin was performing. Okay. Gage is here. We're not on yet. I forget what we're doing, but we're not on the air yet. I'm standing in the doorway, and I hear Tim. He's over by the green room. I hear him say to Colin, "Oh, there's a couple of people at the studio over here I want to introduce you to." So in my head, I'm like, "Holy shit, he's bringing Colin Quinn over here." Brings Colin over. He introduces us, and we're talking for a few minutes. And now Colin Quinn had that show on YouTube that he was trying to get off the ground. Cop Show.
Yeah, Cop Show. Very funny.
Great show. Yeah. Loved it. In fact, Tim Gage was on it a couple times. They and him and Colin have a fight scene, which I thought was just hilarious. So I turned to Colin. I want to say I really liked that Cop Show. I can't believe it didn't go further. But what came out of my mouth was, I like cop rock. Do you remember that stupid show? I had never even seen that show. I don't know why that even came out. After I said that to him, and of course he just looked at me and goes, "You mean Cop Show?" But he had this look on his face like, "You fucking moron."
I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, that's what I meant. But in my head, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I never even watched that show. Why is that title even in my head? And of course, I went the next day. I'm like, what was that? And I Googled it and found a bunch of clips. I'm like, why the hell was the show was worse than I even thought it would be?
One of the most horrific shows.
Little useless trivia for you. I found a clip. Apparently, Sheryl Crow, before she was famous, she was on the show. She was in one episode singing. So that was like that's one interesting little useless tidbit that I found from doing my research.
Oh, really?
But I was researching because I wanted. Yeah. I was like, why would I? And yeah, so right there in that doorway, I said to Colin Quinn, I enjoy Cop Rock.
Cop Rock's a good show. Remember when you did Cop Rock? You were the singing burglar. Yeah, for people that don't remember Cop Rock, it was a show about. It was supposed to be like a procedural type of police show. Cops catching bad guys, and everybody sang.
It was a musical.
It was a musical show, and it was awful. And it was the guy who created like NYPD Blue,
right.
Hill Street Blues, Stephen Bochco, and it was like that was like one of his downfalls.
Right.
Like the guy never really missed, but that is probably the biggest. Hey, R.I.P. Stephen Bochco, but right. you took a hot steaming one with Cop Rock, dude.
And and I said that. Now, it just hit me now. How cool would it have been if Colin was like, "Oh yeah, that was my early days before I made it." Like, you must be a big fan. Yeah. Come, here's my number. Let's talk one day. Like, can you imagine if he did like have a bit part? I would have looked like a genius. But that,
wow, you really went into the deep cuts on me, guy. I like that.
This guy's good.
This guy knows. I got to meet him once. I got a picture with him.
Oh yeah.
I went to one of his shows. Yeah, he's just, I don't know, I guess it was like growing up in Queens, kind of like, he was like the neighborhood wise ass that was like a comedian.
Oh, okay.
That's what he reminded me of, and I was like, that always like resonated with me, and I still try and like, even when I always try and write like, I guess like New York-centric jokes whenever I do that.
Yeah.
It's always like he's in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Because he does it, he's the best at doing it.
Oh, yeah, man.
When it comes to like, I mean, New York Story, I think is one of the funniest.
Yep, that's my favorite.
Hours on Netflix there is, and Unconstitutional I think is brilliant as well. And he's got the. I just saw Small Talk when it came out.
What's that? His latest special?
His latest. Well, it didn't come out. He's in theaters now.
Oh,
he's
okay.
Doing theaters. I saw it down in the Village back in February.
Yeah,
when it opened. He's got a show called Small Talk. Which
I didn't even know that. Okay.
Great.
Oh,
I mean, he's just, he's one of those like, he's like the master carpenter kind of guy. Like he just knows every little trick. He knows exactly what to do to get where he's got to go. And
Carol Miner is making fun of my Colin Quinn voice. I'm not an impersonator. I was just trying to enhance my story. Do you have one, Carol? Do you have an impersonation? Call in and give us your Colin Quinn impersonation. Bosie, you could have said SNL. And you would have been in the clear, but you followed your inner gay pride. That is like an underlying theme today. We're talking a lot of gay stuff. Vicky, or even remote control on MTV. Yeah, I should have done that. I don't know where Cop Rock. I don't even know where it came from. I'm telling you, in my head, I'm like, where? Why? You moron! He'll probably never come in from that. He'll probably never forget me. That's for sure. There's the moron.
Cop Rock.
There's that gay guy who thinks I was on Cop Rock. Yes, that's my Colin Quinn voice, Carol.
Best Colin. Well, not the best one, but his early one was Going Back to Brooklyn on MTV. That's a great special. I think you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't even remember that.
This was when he was still on remote control.
Yeah.
They gave him like a 1 hour sketch special of all these. It's all Brooklyn, New York centric. All these little bits he does.
Oh, wow.
And it's hilarious. Go to YouTube. Go find Going Back to Brooklyn, Colin Quinn.
All right,
and then watch everything else he does too.
Well, yeah. There isn't really a bad thing with him.
Yeah. He's also the guy. It seems like I watched him not bomb on. I remember he's like one of his first Letterman appearance. It might have been his first Letterman appearance, and I love the line. He does a joke, it doesn't hit, and he just looks at the audience, going, "Folks, they're not all going to be gems," and he gets just
yep.
And I've always kept that in my head. Like sometimes just embrace the bomb and
That's
keep
it.
it moving. Keep it moving.
And it's funny you say that because I've seen that with Gage. I've seen him not where it's not going, which I never understand. No matter how many times I see Gage, I'm laughing. But he was not really connecting, and he did. He stopped at one point. He just goes, "These are the jokes, people.
Yeah.
These are the jokes," and that got them, and then it warmed up a little bit. And I bring it up all the time, so you guys are probably sick of hearing it, but whenever I think of Gage, there was this one thing, and it's on YouTube, you can find it. There was this one night he was supposed to be hosting here, and he claims that nobody told him. He knew he was doing a set. It was, I think, a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, but he claims that nobody told him he was hosting. So he's in Jersey, and he's running behind, but again, he thought he was only just doing a set, so he thought he had time. One of the guys from here called and said, "Where are you?" He's like, "Well, I'll be there in a little while. I'm stuck in traffic." They go, "But you're hosting." He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." So so now he's panicked. He's trying to get here. So John Truson was here that night, and he goes out and tells the audience, our host is running late. He's stuck in traffic. Do me a favor. When he gets here and he comes out to do his set, don't laugh. Don't laugh. So it's on YouTube, and you see he's out there, and you could see in his face, and the audience, credit to them, they didn't let up at all. They're not laughing at anything, and you see him, like the look on his face, it is priceless. And then sure enough, he actually figured it out. He's like, "All right, wait a minute. Because did they tell you not to laugh at my jokes?" It's so freaking, I love stuff like that.
I had a guy do that to me at an open mic.
Really?
And it was fun. If it wasn't me, it would have been funny. But like just as he's getting off the stage, he goes, "Wouldn't it be really funny if you just don't laugh at anything the next guy says?" And he got off the stage, and I went up, and I kind of know the guy, and I just looked at him like, "Well played, motherfucker. Well played." It was, and I pretty much got nothing. But
so the audience actually went with it.
It was all comics, so it was like,
oh, okay,
when you're at an open mic, it's like,
they don't laugh anyway. They're not even paying attention.
In their phone,
right?
Like when you get a laugh at an open mic, you're just like, whatever I wrote, that joke can stay in. Because I made these soulless people laugh. I mean, that means like real people will probably enjoy this joke.
Yes, so. Right. Sometimes they have open mics here. Joe Curry is he shows up a lot. I don't know if you know Joe Curry. Yeah, he's great comedian, local guy. He grew up with Cumia, Anthony Cumia. Mm-hmm. So he's buddies with him, and you'll see him featured on a lot of Cumia's stuff. But yeah, every time I see him here for an open mic, he's got a big notebook and his head is buried. And he's just going to town writing shit. But that's what the open mics are for. But yeah, that's What have you worked with any big names so far?
Here, Carrie Carabas. I did one of the shows there.
She's tremendous. Freaking love Carrie.
That's about I did a show with Brendan Sagalow. I don't know if you know him. Real funny dude.
I don't know him personally. I know who he is.
Yeah, I did.
He's great.
I did a bar show with him a month ago.
Really? He's doing bar shows?
Yeah.
Wow.
this is the thing. Like, I mean, I think Long Island and New York City comedy are just two separate worlds and entities.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
And it's like in New York, man, you'll see like club comics. To me, this is how I look at it. Guys who are passed at clubs, to them, bar shows are their open mics.
Oh,
where it's
okay.
like, I'm gonna try this out here. I don't care what.
Right.
If I bomb here, I don't care. I'm gonna try that stuff out. Where me, I do open mics, and bar shows are my clubs, and hopefully whatever I have that works at the bar.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I hear you. That's what a lot of the bigger guys will use a place like this as their open mic for their bigger shows. Like a lot of guys who play, like the Paramount and stuff. Like Kevin James comes here sometimes. Louis C.K. maybe every 2 years he'll do a week straight just to test out. Here at the test.
Yeah, like
out
I saw, like going back to Colin Quinn, I saw him when he did New York Story. I saw that show. I want to say 3 times.
Wow.
He did it once at the Fat Black Pussycat in Manhattan. He was working that out once a week.
Wow.
He was doing the hour and just working that hour out. Then he started it at the Cherry Lane Theater, which is like on like 6 blocks away. I saw that show. And then when he did the Netflix special, he filmed it downtown by the Brooklyn Bridge. I think it was by Pace University. And I got free tickets for it. So I went to that.
Of course.
Like, you just watch them. I mean, that's the best part, too, about if you can get into Manhattan to go to a show, you don't know who's going to pop in or who's going to, especially at the Comedy Cellar if you go, or the Stand. Like, the Stand puts out things every couple of, he's been going there a lot lately, is like Chappelle.
Yes, I heard
the
that.
Stand will put out, they don't say his name, they just put up a picture of a goat. And it'll say, he's here. Now, it's $200 a ticket.
Wow.
But you're not going to a 5,000 seat arena to see him.
Right.
You're in a room with 150, 200 people.
And you're probably going to be there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
I went years ago. It's got to be like 20 years ago. Me and Don Sill. Don, I don't know if you're watching, but I don't even remember where it was anymore. I used to remember. We went somewhere. I forget where it was. But Gaffigan walked in to try some stuff out. It was fantastic. But Don... he recently told me a bunch of names of who was there. Then I'm like, really? That guy was there? This one was there? Really? But now, of course, I don't remember. Again, I don't remember who it was. So, Don, if you're watching, tell us who they were. Kenny Friedberg, wait till you get to my age. I guess Kenny just started watching the show when it started. I hope.
He had to
At
change
least
his
I hope.
diaper, maybe. I don't know. Because I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
I hope you're okay, Kenny. Have you fallen and you can't get up?
Yeah, right. Are you
on
calling
life
for
alert?
help? From their blind man walks into a bar, then a table, then a chair. Yeah. All right. So let's see. So Andy Plagano. So you still with us? Andy was also here that night. You came in with Orlando Jones.
Yeah.
This guy. Yeah, this is Andy. This was my Halloween mask. That's why it's still sitting here since. So it's been almost a year. This thing has been sitting in here. All right. So Andy, when he's watching, I do this Tuesday trivia. Andy's known as the guy who like gets them almost all right. So
I'll try my best.
I have faith in you. You're a smart guy. You know Frank Fiala by any chance? He is a retired.
I know who. Yeah, we're friends. We're like Instagram buddies.
Oh, okay. So you didn't work together or anything?
No.
Because it's weird. Like it's a small world. Like you never know
who's who.
Like Frank, when he was on the job, he knows some guys I went to high school with. You know Don Schroeder by any chance?
I know an Artie Schroeder.
I don't know if that's any relation or not, but Don was a cop in the city, and he was a guy I went to high school with. Yeah, Frank. Turns
There's
out
always
Frank
like
knows
6.
him.
It's 6 degrees of separation.
Oh yeah.
When you like put a bunch of cops in a room, and it's like this guy worked in Brooklyn, this guy worked in the Bronx,
Yep.
and it's like, okay, you worked here, you worked here, you worked. Oh, so you know Dave? Yeah, Dave. Yeah,
Yep.
how's he doing? I don't know. He lives in Florida now.
I'm retired from the phone company, so it's similar.
Yeah.
Because it's the phone company. And I was at a party once, and I met a guy. And sure enough, he's like, "Oh, by the chance, do you know this guy Bill?" And he said the last name. The guy, my partner at work. I'm like, "What are the chances?" I don't know, stuff like that. Always I find funny. All right, so anyway, Andy always gets these right. So he's become known. In fact, on the Long Island scene, he's become known as the smart comedian because of this. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. I hold in my hand this week's Tuesday Trivia. The way this works, I'm asking a bunch of random trivia questions. There's no theme. There's no nothing. Just asking a bunch of random trivia questions. Mike's going to answer them. You guys are going to answer them in the comment thread. I don't give out the answer until I've read all the questions, and then I go back. I go over all your answers. Then I give you the correct answer. There's no nothing. There's no prizes. No nothing. It's just something for fun, and just gives me an opportunity to make fun of all of you.
A Mookie Wilson autographed baseball.
Correct. You get a point just for saying that. Like I said, there are no prizes. However, Mike O'Sullivan, since you are here and since you are playing, if by any chance you're free this weekend, you want to take the wife out, I can get you into almost any shows here in a Governor's Comedy Club. Ooh. Yep, free admission for you and a guest. Ooh. So if you'd like to see Monroe Martin, if you'd like to see Mike Keegan, Carla Okerson, Kathy Arnold, Rich Voss, the legend. Yep, Jay Black. You want to see any of those comedians on a Governor's stage this weekend, go to govs.com. Don't forget our own Richie Byrne is playing McGuire's August 11th and 12th. And don't forget us, Knock 'em Dead Comedy. We're performing some murder mysteries. 2 at the Brokerage in the fall and 2 at McGuire's in the fall. Go to govs.com and make some reservations to some great comedy shows. All right, with that, question number 1. After the sun, what is the second brightest regularly visible celestial object in Earth's sky? How's that for a question?
After the sun?
What is the second brightest regularly visible celestial object in Earth's sky?
The North Star.
The North Star.
I know.
I like it. That's a very intelligent answer, which is why I like it. All right. Since the movie is out now playing and it's a big hit, in which 20th century decade? Let me start that again. In which 20th century decade was Barbie's boyfriend Ken first made? I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. In which 20th century decade was Barbie's boyfriend Ken first made?
I'll say the 60s.
60s, says Mike O'Sullivan. All right. Who had a huge hit in the 70s with the number 1 song, Shadow Dancing?
Was that the Bee Gees? Was it Bee Gees? I thought it was. I'm gonna say the Bee Gees.
All right, I'll give you another point if you sing it.
No, I'll lose a point. You can take a point.
In football, here's a nice easy one for you. In football, where do the Chargers come from?
San Diego.
Another one you'll get as a law enforcement person. What does the F stand for in FBI?
Federal.
See that? So they're getting easier. They're getting easier. In which state? What state is called the volunteer state?
Tennessee.
Name the actor who played Sid Vicious, Lee Harvey Oswald,
Gary Oldman,
Count Dracula, and Beethoven.
Gara.
This one I like. According to an MSU survey that was done in 1996, what talk show gave his or her guests the fewest opportunities to speak? Are we talking about Rosie, Oprah, or Leno? So it's a multiple choice question.
Rosie, Oprah, or Leno?
Yep. The talk show who gave his or her guests the fewest opportunities to speak according to a 1996 MSU survey.
Oprah? Try Oprah. I don't know.
You're really intrigued by that one, huh?
Yeah.
All right. What is the definition of persiflage?
Oh, come on. That's not even a real word.
It is.
No, it's not.
Persiflage.
I feel like I'm in a spelling bee now.
Well, it's a multiple choice question, my friend.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Does it mean light and slightly contemptuous mockery or banter? Or does it mean to be so hot you're on the verge of passing out? Or does it mean you're just wasting time?
The passing out.
Passing out.
I'm gonna go with the passing out.
Okay. We are down to our final question.
Oh, thank God.
I don't know. Don't thank him yet. What percentage of people go right to Facebook or Twitter, not in the shower, after a romp in the sheets? Is it 14%, 36%, 72%? What percentage of people go right to Facebook or Twitter after a romp in the sheets?
You got to tell everybody? What? Wait, 14?
14%, 36%, or 72%?
I'll say... I don't think everyone's that sick. I'll say 14.
Everyone's that sick.
You're just bored.
Do you take a shower? Or?
Yeah, you want to, I mean, things are done. You want to freshen up a little.
Absolutely. All right. And now
podcasts are doing stuff. Things going on.
All right, let's see. Let me go back, find the beginning of the answers. All right. Question number 1. You didn't do too bad, though. I want you to know. I'm impressed. After the sun, what is the second brightest regularly visible celestial object in Earth's sky? Mike said the North Star. Carol said Venus. Jeff Bosey said his legs in a hot air balloon. What does that mean? Fremder says, yes, the Jewish star. Now, Andy Pajanos, as usual, got it correct, and Vicky also got it correct. And I have a feeling once you hear the answer, you're going to be like, son of a bitch. The answer is the moon.
What?
Sorry. No, so you're not going, oh, shit, of course.
It was right in front of me.
Exactly.
It just hit my eye like a big pizza pie. Man.
In which 20th century decade was Barbie's boyfriend Ken first made? Mike said the 60s. Vicky said the 60s. Carol said the 60s. Bosey said 70s. Andy Pagano said 60s with a question mark. So, Andy, are you asking me or telling me? Fremder, Barbie broke up with Ken because Ken came in another box. Yes, Fremder. You guys are all correct. It is the 60s.
Wow.
Yep, so you're 1 for 2 so far. You're batting 5. Who had a huge 70s number 1 hit with the song Shadow Dancing? Andy Plagano says Hyman Lipschitz.
All his albums.
You and Bosey both said the Bee Gees. Close, but incorrect. But very, very close. Vicky got it right. Carol got it right. Andy Gibb.
Oh.
Which I think the Bee Gees actually wrote it, if I'm not mistaken. But and they're probably even on it, too. But yeah,
okay.
It's Andy Gibb. But you get half a point.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It's a Gibb. In football, where did the Chargers come from? San Diego. Everybody got that one. Oh, then Andy, of course, is now L.A.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. Vicky got that one right, too.
Good job, Vicky.
Yes, very proud of you. Vicky's getting them all right today so far, too. What does the F stand for in FBI? Everybody got that right. Everybody did. Very nice. Yep, everybody got that one. So it is federal. What state is called the volunteer state? Mike said Tennessee. Yep, everybody got that one right, too. Everybody's doing very well today on Tuesday Trivia. Very proud of you all. Not as dumb as I thought you guys were. Who played Sid Vicious, Lee Harvey Oswald, Count Dracula, and Beethoven in movies? Mike was so confident. He said it before I was even done. Gary Oldman. Vicky got that one right, and so did Andy Plajanos. I think Vicky and Andy are neck and neck today so far. I think you two have gotten every single one of them. What talk show host gave his or her guests the fewest opportunities to speak, according to a 1996 MSU survey? Are we talking about Rosie, Oprah, or Leno? Mike said Oprah. Carol said Rosie. Andy Plagano said Rosie. Jeff Bosey said Rosie. Vicky said Rosie. Carol says, I would now say Rachel Ray. She is horrible at interrupting. Oh, Fremder says Richard Bay. Yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Richard Bay.
You remember that?
The poor man's Jerry Springer.
Absolutely right. Whatever happened to that guy?
He was in the Borat movie.
He was?
Yeah.
The first one.
No. Yeah. No. Bruno. The other one when he's the gay.
Oh, I never saw that one.
He plays Richard Bay.
Really?
Yeah, they do like this mock, like Richard Bay show.
Yeah.
And the guy Bruno, the Sacha Baron Cohen character adopts a black baby from Africa, and the whole audience is black. And I'll just say they're not happy with him because he's saying how like he uses the baby as like a dick magnet, and it don't go well. Like it looked like. I'm sure they cut the cameras before like someone was going to cause violence. And Richard Bay is the host of that show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, go watch Bruno and you can see Richard Bay.
If for you Richard Bay fans, yeah. I should try and get him. Like sometimes I'll do that. People have no idea whatever happened to them. I try to get them on here. So let me point out, ladies and gentlemen, that Andy, Vicky, Carol, Bosie, you guys got that one all wrong. This guy got it right here. Oprah Winfrey gave her guests the fewest opportunities to speak. So you might have the same amount right as them now because they all got that one wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. We still got a bunch of questions left, though. Damn.
Well, yeah, true. The hardest one is right now. What is the definition of persiflage? Light and slightly contemptuous mockery or banter. That should have told you right there that's the answer, because there's no way I would have come up with that. That sounds way too smart. You would have never written
the word banter?
Or contemptuous, or mockery, or light, or slightly. To be so hot you're on the verge of passing out, or wasting time. All right, so Bosie said wasting time. That's incorrect. Plagano said, mockery, contemptuous mockery of banter. That's correct. Mike said, passing out. That's incorrect. Vicky said the light one. Oh, all right, so Vicky got it right. Vicky and Andy got it right. Carol didn't even bother to answer that one.
Smart move, Carol.
Yeah. So, all right. So, yeah, we got a tight race going on here. And that takes us to our last question, and let's see how you guys make out here. What percentage of people go right to Facebook or Twitter, not the shower, after a romp in the sheets? 14%, 36%, 72%. Mike said, I hope that many people aren't that crazy or sick. So he said 14%. Andy Plajanos has agreed with you. He says 14. So, I don't know, tight race. Carol says 72%. Vicky says 36. Jeff Bosie said 36. Fremder, you're wasting time because the light is too hot and might pass out. Oh, and then he says, okay, that's going back. He said 69%, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, the correct answer is 36%. Bosie and Vicky got that one right. It looks like Vicky is pulled out as today's winner. Well done, Vicky. Well done.
Congratulations, Vicky. Congratulations.
Vicky, she lives up in the Rochester area. She just came down a few weeks ago and got a free show at McGuire's. So you're still the man. If you want them, you let me know. I don't need to know today. But if you want to bring a guest to any of the 3 Governors Comedy Clubs this weekend, you let me know. So well played, my friend. Well played. How do you feel?
Like a winner.
You are a winner, Mike O'Sullivan. You and Mookie Wilson. You guys are inspirations to us all. Carol says the Bee Gees wrote almost all of Andy Gibbs' songs. Now I don't feel bad about Cop Rock, since now that Carol knows that. Yeah,
the Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees were awesome in their day.
Did you watch that documentary about them?
I didn't like it.
No?
I'll tell you why. There's a lot of documentaries about bands that I haven't liked lately because they talk about how they started, they talk about their heyday, and then it goes. But meanwhile, they're still going on today, there's still another 30 or 40 years to go, and they don't touch it. They just go, how they started, their peak, and then the last 10 minutes is everything they've done in the past 30 years. I don't like that. And that's what the Bee Gees documentary did.
I liked it they got into the whole. To me, the Bee Gees are always just Saturday Night Fever. That's
absolutely. Yes.
I mean, that's
right.
Maybe because of my age or whatever. I just remember them as a little kid. It was like they were Saturday Night Fever, and how they put that whole album together.
Right.
That was just wild.
Oh, sure.
That's what I liked seeing. And then like I have two younger brothers. Like the brother relationship in it was
Oh, that's true.
interesting to watch. As
Oh,
well.
the three of you should do a BG tribute band.
Yes.
You should just do all brother bands. The Jonas Brothers.
Jonas Brothers band.
The Osmonds. Maybe then
Need
throw
like
in
5 more brothers, I think, to do.
probably
the
the Osmonds. Yeah.
Did you like the Eagles documentary?
Loved the Eagles
See, that
documentary.
was great.
Yes.
Like, I didn't realize they wanted to beat the shit out of Don Felder at the end of a show.
I love how they have the audio of that.
Yeah.
I can't wait till the show's over. I'm
Yeah.
going to kill you. I just can't wait. Fuck you, man.
And then he ran into a limo and just took off.
And then they have pictures of that. Him running to the vehicle, and then there's Glenn Fry giving him the finger. I love that document. I'm a big Eagles guy.
Whatever. That's just a great line, though. That's like I don't give a shit. You and
Yep.
this dumb bullshit. Yeah,
Yep.
whatever.
I love the honesty of that one.
Yeah.
Like, fuck Don Felder. Me and Fry, we got more money.
Oh,
because-
yeah, the reunion thing
Yeah.
was great. Like, this is what we're getting paid. And
Right.
This is what you are getting paid.
Right.
Well, it's the same thing like Kiss. Kiss is like that.
Right.
Those other
Yes,
two
it
guys
is.
are just hired guns.
Right.
I mean, granted, they've been around a long time, but they're like, listen, we own this.
Right.
And you're our employee.
And no disrespect to you other guys, but it is a fact. You know, the two of Stanley and Simmons carried it.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with the Eagles. You know Glenn Fry, you know Don Henley. Of course, you know Joe Walsh, too. But Felder and Timothy B. Schmidt, like,
Yeah.
nobody, you know, and nobody's noticed that Felder hasn't been there since the year 2000.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. But, yeah, I love that documentary.
You should get, you know who you could probably get in here?
Who?
Ace Frehley. Because I heard he just loves shitting on them.
I actually do have.
I think it's more Simmons than Stanley, but I think he hates Gene Simmons.
Well, yeah, did you see that?
Hates him.
Did you hear about that just like 2 months ago or so? He was on, Ace was on, was it Stern he was on? And he talked about how gay Paul Stanley is. And he just went on and on.
He's got such a manly voice, though. I can't.
I was there. I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction when Kiss got inducted.
Yeah.
And the Kiss takes the stage. And my buddy and I were sitting there. And my buddy just yells out, Paul Stanley's just so pretty. This whole section, the surrounding, we were dying. We were laughing our asses off. But yeah, he was talking about how gay Paul Stanley is. So then, oh, no, I take that. Wait a minute now. No, Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons were on Stern. That's what it was. And they told Stern, like, they were just explaining how they couldn't go on with Ace and Peter anymore because they were just so messed up with drugs and stuff. And Paul Stanley goes, we would have had to change our name to Piss. So then Ace comes out and he says to Paul Stanley, he publicly says to Paul Stanley, you got 10 days to give me an apology. He goes, or I'm coming out with the worst shit. But meanwhile, his book, he used to talk about before they made it big and they used to, share, like they would get hotel rooms with two band members. Yeah. He's like, countless times, he goes, I would wake up to see Paul Stanley trying to suck my dick. I mean, he just goes on and on about how gay Paul Stanley is in this book. So what dirt he could have held back, I have no idea. But I think they eventually worked it out, and he never came out with anything. But I do have a loose connection to Ace Frehley. I've been tempted to ask for a favor. Say, hey, can you get Ace?
I heard he just. I think he seems like if you just give him a form, like. So what do you think of Gene Simmons?
Yeah.
What do you think of what's going? Because I saw him one time on when Eddie Trunk used to have his.
Oh, sure.
Show
that metal show.
That metal show. Yes, he was on it, and he said it. I think at one point. Simmons told Frehley, if you clean up your act, you're sober, we'll bring you back. And Ace Frehley was like, hey, Gene, I've been sober for like 7 years, man.
Right.
Pick up a phone.
Right.
And I think that's I think that's what's also contributed to it. He gave him like the same thing with the Eagles with Joe Walsh.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
You could come back, but you better, we're too old for this shit.
Right. And then I think it was it Henley? I forget, one of them actually drove him to get straight. Yeah. That's how serious they were. But see, I love that kind of honesty. We had Ricky Byrd in here. He was the original guitar player for Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. This guy didn't want to talk. He didn't want to say anything about music. Apparently he's a big comedy fan. It's all he wanted to do was tell jokes and talk about comedians. Like, he even brought his guitar, but then he refused to play it while he was in here. Like, all right, thanks for coming by, Ricky. But
thanks for the one thing I wanted to talk to you about.
Right.
You didn't want to talk about.
So now I don't know what to do. I just watched just a few days ago the Donna Summer documentary.
I haven't. I heard it's great.
It's great, but it's weird. It's very weird. It's not one of those regular. Well, in 1972, I met Donna. Like it doesn't work that way. They do it completely different. It's really strange. Donna she's been married. She was married a few times, and she was with a guy at one point that used to beat the shit out of her. And they talked to this guy, and he says, "Yeah, I was very stupid. I regret it, but I did. I used to beat her up like this." I thought that was fascinating. But there's this one clip of her. She turns out in the 70s, she loved to document everything. So she actually bought a video camera in the 70s before everybody had them, and she would document everything. Like she would leave her cameras on, and like everything was. So there's a clip of her. The man that the last guy she was married to for years until she died. There's a clip of them from like late 70s, early 80s where they're sitting on a chair and they're just making out, like really like heavy making out. What? I know, but Donna Summer, gorgeous. I thought beautiful. So it was kind of like I was digging it. Like
now I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I mean just for that. I mean you see, like her tongue is flying. And I did. In all seriousness, I know I'm being stupid, but in all seriousness, I did the same thing.
Was it hot stuff? It was hot stuff.
Well, I said, I go, wow, she's a bad girl. But I actually did say that. I swear to you, I actually did. Why are they showing this? Like to me, that's so private. But yeah, it's a weird documentary. Like the way they did it was just a little different. But I enjoyed it. But same thing. Goes into her mid-80s. And it just kind of stops there. I mean, they barely even talk about her death. They did a little bit at the end, but it was just weird the way it was done.
But I mean, I think a lot of those documentaries too, like what you're talking about, you see that a lot. Like, I mean,
I'm interested in the whole story.
Yeah, I don't think they want to talk about when they're playing. You know, they went from playing Madison Square Garden to,
the park
pub,
right?
For one of my best friends that passed away about 6-7 years ago. My buddy Joe D, rest in peace. Huge Kiss fan. Would never see Kiss if it wasn't the original lineup. Stopped seeing them. But I remember him. Now he lived upstate. He was going out to Mulcahy's. Mulcahy's is a nice sized venue, but
absolutely,
he was going to see Vince Neil at Mulcahy's. You think Vince Neil wants to be in Mulcahy's? No offense to Mulcahy's,
absolutely,
Eddie, but there was so many of those 80s acts that had to play those venues, or even smaller than that.
Right.
I know a guy that went out to, there's a big place in that, like a decent-sized place in the Hamptons. My buddy saw David Lee Roth there.
Oh, maybe Stephen Talkhouse, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know a guy that saw at Great Adventure. Great Adventure's bottom of the barrel. That's like, you've hit, I mean, I would kill to open for
I was going to say, I'd be fine with it, yeah.
He saw David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar on a double bill.
At Great Adventure?
Great Adventure. This is like in the early to mid 90s or whatever in Jersey.
I'm surprised because Sammy's. I mean, I just saw Sammy 2-3 years ago at Jones Beach. So I'm surprised to hear that. Another guy that I've met a few times. Such a nice man, Sammy Hagar.
He seems like this genuine, regular guy. Whenever I've seen him on interviews.
Yes, I'm a huge Sammy Hagar fan. Yeah, and I've met him twice. Super nice guy every time.
It seems like if you could meld those two people into one, they'd be awesome. Like the showmanship of David Lee Roth and just Sam, because it seems they just hated David Lee Roth.
Yeah, big time.
And he doesn't come off as likable.
Right.
Whenever he's interviewed.
Yeah.
And that's,
I agree.
Those
songs, the David Lee songs with Sammy singing, that's it for me. I'll listen to Sammy singing those songs before I listen to the original because
more
Sammy
hits too. I think they had more chart.
Oh, I'm a fan. I'm a Van Hagar guy, but I mean, it's not like you can't not like the David Lee Roth era, but I just like Hagar. Such a great guy. And guys, should I put you through my Eddie Van my Eddie Van Halen story again so I can tell Mike? I'll read comments first, and I'll tell you my Eddie Van Halen story.
I want to hear an Eddie Van Halen story.
I got one for you. I liked how they showed how they wrote so many songs that became hits for other people when disco died. That was a cool thing about the Bee Gees thing. Absolutely. Fremder, the Bee Gees aren't here anymore because they had trouble staying alive.
Ooh.
Carol saw Don Felder a couple of years ago. He was really good, just saying. No, he is good. He's a great guitar player. Absolutely.
What, he serve you dinner? I mean,
he plays Mulcahy sometimes, Don Felder.
I'm surprised he can fill that up.
Yeah, true. Carol says Ace Frehley's solo album sold more than any of the others when they each did a solo at the same time. Wow, Carol's up on her Kiss. I remember that when they released the four solo albums.
Well, him and Peter Criss each had their hit song.
Right. Beth? And then
Beth, and then
New York
Groove.
New York Groove. I was going to say New York Stroll. I knew that was wrong. New York Groove. That's a great tune.
That is a great tune.
Yeah.
It's actually, to bring it all back, Colin Quinn's, that's the song he plays for New York Story.
To go back even more full circle, sometimes at Citi Field they play that when the game's over. See, that was all planned.
We wrote Kiss down on a piece of paper before this.
We wrote Mookie Wilson,
Bring It Back.
Kiss. Yes. The Yogi Berra documentary. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, my. It is one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. That and the Jeter documentary that's 7 or 8 or 9 parts. But the Berra fantastic.
I met him.
You met Yogi?
Relax.
All right, you first, then I'll tell you my EVH story.
I want to hear that. The Yogi story is quick.
Okay. Then you go take a shower.
I worked at Yankee Stadium for a couple of summers, and we got there early. We're in the old press. This is the old Yankee Stadium in the press room. They're having a meeting. We get done. We're standing outside, and all I hear is this voice behind me. What are all you guys doing here? And I turn around. All right. First of all, Yogi Berra is that.
Right.
He's a small. And I turn and I look down. I go, holy shit, it's Yogi Berra. And I shook his hand. Hey, how you doing? And the worst thing, all I could think of was, I wish I had a baseball right now so he could sign this thing. Yeah. I heard he was very nice, and that was it. And then he just floated away and was gone.
Wow.
But I was like, wow, I just met Yogi, the most World Series.
I swear to you, I know this is something that people joke about and make stories up, but I swear to you this is true. When I was a kid, I was probably around 13 or 14. I don't even remember why I was there, but I went to some garage sale, and they had a bunch of there was some sports memorabilia at this garage sale, and there's a real cheap frame around a picture of Thurman Munson. So I'm looking at it, right? I actually picked it up to look at it. And the signature caught my eye. I'm like, so I bring it a little closer. It's real. I mean, I don't know if it's a real autograph, but somebody wrote Thurman Munson, and this isn't a printed copy. I'm telling you, I'm doing one of these, looking to see if anybody's on to me or if this is a joke. I bought this thing for $25. Where this thing is now, I have no idea. I lost it years ago, and it kills me to this day that I lost that autograph.
Damn.
That's my whole story.
All right.
Eddie Van Halen.
Let's hear.
So there was a band, I think they're still around on the alternative scene. They were called Our Lady Peace.
I heard. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I've heard of them.
So a buddy of mine here in Hicksville used to own a CD shop. Rob Notaro, he's been in here a couple of times. He owned a CD shop in the 90s, and I'm good at drawing cartoon. I can draw a cartoon version of you.
It's not hard.
Just draw Frank Cashin.
Yeah.
So my buddy said, can you draw a picture that will hang in the store to advertise that they're coming in? So I drew the picture. So the band comes in, they're doing signing and whatnot. They see the picture, they're like, who drew that? I'm like, me. They bring me over. I mean, they're all over me. Oh, this is great. They pat my back. What's your name? They're talking to me. And meanwhile, the only song I knew of theirs, they covered the Beatles' Dear Prudence. That's the only song I knew of theirs. but I just played it up. Oh, nice to meet you. This is great. Yeah, you guys are great. So to thank me, first they took the poster. They wanted to take it with them when they were leaving. No problem. But then to thank me, they gave me 2 tickets for Jones Beach there, and they're opening for VH. And I was like, and I'm a VH. I love VH. I'm like, holy shit, this is fantastic. Get the tickets. I have to go to a special gate, and of course they're like, all right, well, you're here, and this is for Our Lady Peace only. You cannot leave, the Our Lady Peace section. So I go into their room. They played. Now they're in their room. Their after show party is like maybe 18 people in some room maybe this size, and they're like, hey, it's the cartoon guy. I'm like, hey, how you guys doing? Good, great set, thanks. So I'm like, all right, now what? So I'm there another 2 minutes. Out I go. At that point, and nobody's paying attention. So I go. I have a lanyard thing, so nobody's coming to look. They just see that you have it. So now I'm walking all over the place. I see at the same time. I see this girl I know. Total coincidence, and she was a good-looking girl. What the hell's her name? Debbie? I forget her name. But she was all decked out. I mean, something right out of MTV, like a beach party thing. But just a few feet away from her is Alex Van Halen. So she looks at me. She goes, "What are you doing here?" I do the same thing. I go, "What are you doing here?" With that, Alex just comes walking right up to us, and he's wearing a neck brace. I was like, "Oh, Alex, nice to meet you. What's with the neck brace?" And he was having some nerve issues, and he's talking all about, and we're just bullshitting. Nice guy. She turns to him. She goes, "Alex, if you need somebody to rub your neck, you just let me know." I swear to you, he does one of these. He looks at her, looks back at me, looks all disgusted, and he just walks away. And I looked at her. I go, "Thanks, nice job." She's like, "Fuck you, Tony." I'm like, "All right." So I say goodbye to her and move on. I see Sammy really quick, nice enough. Now, again, I'm a huge Van Halen fan, so I'd already seen them on this was their very last tour with Sammy, not their reunion with Sammy when he was still a regular part. So I'd seen them on this tour already. So I'm in the seats. And at Jones Beach, if you have backstage passes, they have these elevated seats on both sides of the stage.
Oh, okay.
So you have to go up a ladder to get to them, or stairs, whatever. Sammy goes into his acoustic number. I've seen it all already on this tour. I'm like, this is the bathroom break.
Yeah.
I go down the steps. I get to the bottom of the steps. To my left is the stage. To my right was nothing. Well, I mean, that's where you go to the bathroom, but there's nobody around. In between the stage and me there's a guy who looked like a roadie or something. He was working on some of the gear. There's an older gentleman sitting on a bench, and Eddie Van Halen. So I'm actually in my head, I go, there's nobody else around except the four of us. There's literally, to my right, to go to the backstage area where the bathrooms are, there's nobody here. So I'm like, holy shit, it's me. I couldn't believe it.
This is my moment.
Right. But I'm only in my early 20s, 24, 25, a stupid kid. I make eye contact with the older gentleman. He's just staring at me. I don't acknowledge him really. And now Eddie all of a sudden looks up at me. And I don't even know why I had this. To this day, I don't know why I had it. But in my back pocket, I had a picture. I unfolded it of one of Eddie's. It was a picture of one of his guitars. I unfolded it. And I go, "Can you sign this?" Like an idiot. Eddie Van Halen looks at me. He goes, "No, you got to get the fuck out of here." Just like that. And I'm like a cartoon. When we were kids, like the Super Friends. Well, if I fly down this way, I can grab Lex Luthor by tying this up and like when they talk to nobody, they're just doing that. That's exactly what I did. I went, Eddie Van Halen just cursed at me, just like that. As soon as I said it, now the roadie, he looks up, he's pissed and he starts yelling. And I look to my right, and here comes all the security.
A big fellow, a couple of big fellas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was like, this is it, I'm dead. But I did. I put my hands up. I go, "No problem, fellas, no problem." Mm-hmm. And they did. They let me take off, go to the bathroom, and that was it. How I got away with that, I have no idea, but I did. I went to the bathroom, and I came right back up the steps.
I know you're in the middle of a show, but sign this for me quick.
That's exactly my stupidity.
I would have done the same thing.
But then, at the end of the show, they start, the old tune, Mississippi Queen?
Yeah.
So they start playing that. They're jamming on that. They come out for the encore. They start jamming on that song. Sammy goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest from the band Mountain," which is a Long Island.
Yeah.
Leslie West.
Yeah.
He comes out. Now, Leslie West, he was a big guy in his day. He was huge. And he was famous for, like Joe Walsh, he was famous for drugs and drinking. Yeah. He had just gotten sober just around the time of the show, so he lost a lot of weight. He wasn't even looking all that healthy.
Yeah, he used to be a real stern regular back in the day.
Yes, he was.
Always on.
But, yeah, so when he first lost the weight, he still wasn't looking right. That was the guy sitting on the bench. So it's me, Eddie Van Halen, and Leslie West. So they bring him on at the end of the show, and he's jamming. And so I'm looking, I'm like, I just went like this. It was me, Eddie Van Halen, and Leslie West. I couldn't freaking believe. I still, to this day, I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm with these two guitar gods.
You should have asked Leslie West to sign it.
He would have done it. And then, I mean, years later, I mean, he ended up losing a leg too. So I could have, even though neither one of us lost our leg at that time, we still could have predicted the future again and bonded over our future
Sign
losses.
each other's legs.
Sign each other's legs.
It all comes around. It's all full circle.
Again, planned. And with that, it's just about time for us to go. I'm just going to read whatever comments are left. Carol, I looked for the Yogi Berra doc. Where is it streaming? It was either on Netflix or Amazon where I found it.
I think Amazon.
Amazon? Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Carol, that's where it was. Jeff Bosey, have a great day. Oh, okay. Cool. You too. All right, yeah, that's it. We're out of here. Mike O'Sullivan, thank you, pal. This was fun today.
Thank you.
Mike will be here with us. Hugh Murray has left the building, so he's not doing Tuesdays with us anymore. So Mike's going to hang around with us for a while, and yeah, it'll be fun. So that's it. We're out of here. What do we got? Today's Tuesday. Hershey and the Keegs tonight at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. They're doing 7 o'clock for a few weeks, and then they're going back to their regular time slot after that. So there today. Then we're off tomorrow, as you know. Tomorrow night, Circling the Drain is on in here at 7. And then we're back here on Thursday. It'll be me and Brandon Lacaruba along with Noel Rodney Jr. That'll be fun. On Friday, me and Andy are in here. Andy Pajanos, we're in here. Benny Rizzuti and Jen Snortland will be visiting with us on Friday. Also, we have 2 new shows coming your way here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. And I think they're both premiering. No, one is premiering next Tuesday. We have, what's it called? Primal, hang on. I think it's called Primal Fear, Primal Scream, something Primal. Primal Scream with Nick Gravestone. If you've watched Hershey and the Keegs, you've seen Nick on there a few times. He's bringing a show in here. He's going to cover a variety of topics. That's going to be a lot of fun. Nick's a good guy. He's in a band. He follows a lot of crime scenes. He's into all that crazy stuff. So Nick Greystone, that starts next Tuesday, the 8th. And then we also have, on August 10th, My True Crime Obsession with Christine Dana. She goes around. She follows a lot of famous crimes. Her and Nick. Whoa! See, I tell you, I'm the biggest klutz as I get older. Her and Nick, they, like the whole Gilgo thing, they were all over that. They were all over TV talking about it. Some of Nick's videos went viral. She's going to be talking about a lot of different crime cases. So that'll be a lot of fun. So that's next week, both shows. Nick on Tuesday and Christine's on next Thursday. So I'll get more info to you as we get closer. And that'll do it. So again, tonight at 7, Hershey and the Keegs, I'll be here with them. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's 7 o'clock on the YouTube channel. Mike, where can they find you? You got social media stuff? Sunday,
I'll be at Cellar 77 East 7th Street in Manhattan, 5:30. The After Brunch show I'll be hosting. Got a great lineup this week. Riyadh Carroll's producing the show. Great guy. Come out and see that. And at the end of August, I will be from August 28th to September 2nd. I'll be on the Fifth Borough Comedy Festival. That's out in Staten Island.
Oh, nice.
I haven't gotten any dates yet, but you can go on Instagram, Fifth Borough Comedy Festival, to get the lineups probably in like another week or two. And follow me on Instagram, please, Mike O'Sullivan Comic. I really appreciate it, and thank you.
And he's also got a YouTube channel.
And a YouTube channel, Mike O'Sullivan Comedy.
Cool. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday and your Wednesday. Keegan and Hershey tonight. Circling the Drain tomorrow night, and then we're back here Thursday morning. See you guys. Thanks. What will you experience at a Knock 'em Dead comedy murder mystery show? Suspense, excitement, love, more love, violence. Well, not really. And, of course, some music. Knock 'em Dead Comedy is the #1 murder mystery troupe, entertaining thousands of people for over 20 years.
You have a great night or what?
Good. Their hilarious murder mystery shows are full of audience interaction from beginning to end that will keep you laughing all night long. Their shows are not to be missed. Knock 'em Dead Comedy's murder mystery themes include a mob show, a redneck wedding, a high school reunion, a family reunion with a luau theme, or your own custom show.
Johnny, you have a good time tonight or what?
Had an awesome time.
All right. She had a great time. KDC, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, all right.
Fundraisers, private parties, corporate events, restaurants, and more.